Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be asking the question first is, do I need the UV light? And this is going to pertain to the Jade coating line up here that I have, or the Adams coatings, because these are the only ones that use the UV tracer. For regular coatings you don't need this, and again I want to go over whether or not a UV light is really needed if you're going to be using primarily the Jade coatings or the Adams coatings. Because again, those are the ones that have the UV tracer. Now I think it's a pretty cool technology to have it, and I'll kind of discuss why. So I'm actually just finished coating my Camaro. This is a 2002 Camaro SS with the LS1 in here, the V8. And so I just have this front panel here and then underneath the lights here. And so I kind of want to just go over this little demonstration here on whether or not I need the UV light. So I'm applying the Jade Aquamarine to my car, which yes, you can apply it to paint. I'm gonna give it a good shake, and I'm using a coating saver applicator from Auto Fiber here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply one side without the UV light. So I'm just gonna apply it like I don't have the UV light. And the reason I'm saying is, do we need it, is because if you're somebody who's familiar with coatings, you'll understand the flashing that the coatings usually have that's built into them. For example, these Jade coatings here tend to have more of that sweating effect, and also that they do have a slight rainbow. It just depends on the color of the vehicle. I can see slight rainbowing on my white paint, but I'm just going to go ahead and kind of just apply it here, working in this area here, box it in, and then just apply it like a regular coating. So yeah, I can actually see when this coating is ready to be leveled. Now, and I want to go work this section here because this coating saver applicator is fantastic at spreading product. So I'm just going to apply it like I would a normal coating. Crosshatch pattern, just make sure I get even coverage. So again, I'm just going to pay attention to the flash time of the coating, and as I mentioned, this coating tends to have that sweating effect, and there's a slight rainbow, more pronounced on darker paint than lighter paint, but again, you kind of see that sweating effect take place. And over here, so I'm going to let this kind of set up, is I'm going to use the UV tracer, but I don't want to showcase this right now, because if I do, then I'll show you, you'll see all my applicator marks, and like I said, I'm not there to that point. I want to give you an idea if I don't have the UV light, can I still use the coating, and the answer is yes. Because again, you'll understand that once you start seeing the coating sweat, you can use it, like I use my finger to see if it's ready to be wiped off, then I can actually get to that point. So again, you want to have some sort of good light. Actually, let me get the other light so I don't disrupt it. And by the way, how similar does this Adams light look to the Braun light? I mean, that's an exact copy almost, other than the Adams one has a UV feature built in, but it's I mean, there you go. I just want to kind of showcase that. So I'm looking at this under the light here, and I can start seeing the separation, the sweating effect, and so I can take my finger, and it's still a little wet, so it's not ready to be wiped off yet. I can start seeing the small sweating effects. Again, if I don't have good lighting, I'll have to get a diffused lighting, but I have pretty decent lighting in the garage over here because it's a little thinner. It's almost ready to be wiped off. So I'm gonna wait a few more seconds here, and then we'll transition over to this side. Plus I have my hood up, so it's blocking some of the light that's here. So again, plus I turned some of the lights off in the garage because I want to showcase that, hey, if I don't have proper lighting, how does this really work? So I'm gonna go ahead and just get my towel ready here. And I usually tend to mark my towels with the marker. Yes, you can buy the ones from Auto Fiber, but these are not Auto Fiber towels. This is a CarPro 2-phase light towel, and I just mark them. The same thing with the CarPro towels, I just mark them there. So let me just get the light here and see if I'm ready. Yep. So now I'm to the point where I can wipe this off. And again, it'll feel a little tacky during the initial wipe, which is normal for a coating. And these coatings will have a slicker feel to them once you come back with another towel and you wipe off the excess. Okay, so this is if I'm applying it without the light. So again, since I'm so familiar with coatings, because I've been applying coatings since like 2008 or something like that, 2010, and we're at 2024, going to 2024. Yeah, that gives me, 14 years worth of experience applying coatings. And I'll tell you what, you guys are so lucky these days because coatings are so user friendly than from when I started using coatings back then. Okay, so now I'm done with that. Now, if I'm a newbie and I'm applying, say, one of the Adams coatings here, I would definitely invest in the UV light that comes with it. I would just buy the kit that comes with it, because again, I could take advantage of this here. And yes, I can use this under this lighting condition. And like right here, it looks like I missed a spot, but it's because I've applied it heavier in certain areas that it looks like that. So that's the benefit to this, is I can actually see that I did pretty good. And what I'm going to do is, for this next portion, is turn the lights off in the garage, and we're going to apply coating in the dark so you can see the UV tracers. Again, it looks like I missed a spot. You can see my hands are all full of UV tracers, so wear your gloves. And you can see where I don't have the UV tracer. So what I'm gonna do, let's bring this cart with me, and let me see if I can use the Adams light to kind of showcase this. I'll bring it a little closer. Okay, hopefully it stays still. Okay, so it's a little darker in here, so it's really hard to see the coating, so that was one mistake. I'm not going to turn it back on. I can just check my applicator, and I can actually see that I haven't used this side and I've used this side. So I'm just going to load my applicator. That's probably a little bit more than what I need. And what I would do is just apply this, and you can see it going on in the dark. And I've seen professionals apply this coating in their shops. They switched over to having UV lights in their garage as well. I overloaded this big time because I couldn't see in the dark, so I'm going to thin it out. I've seen professionals in their shops have not just regular shop lights, but also a set of UV lights, because this has a specific wavelength. Yeah, I overloaded this applicator way too much. Again, they have these lights, I keep getting distracted, in their shop, and they use that during the application process. Oop, I hope I didn't spill anything. Let me just kind of turn this on and put that on there, put that there, and we'll kind of just let this set up here. So that's the benefit of the UV light here, is if I had more in my garage, I can just apply this in the dark and I can see if I'm getting even coverage here. And you can see my towel's kind of loaded up with UV tracer because I've been using it, so I can flip to a different side, but I'm still okay because it's still picking up thing. And this one will get a little UV tracer, not so much, so it tends to last a little longer. Which I'm actually going to use probably side 5 of this one, because I'm going to chuck these towels away anyway. But again, I would just let this kind of do its thing. It's a little difficult to see it set up here, so I'm actually going to switch this over to this light because I can't see it set up with the UV tracer. So Yeah, it's super wet because I over applied it because I couldn't see the applicator. Yeah, so it's like really wet here. Yeah, so I can apply it, so you can see I applied it very thick here. Thicker than usual because it should have a thin hue to it, like down here. So just depending on your lighting condition, your temperature and humidity, then that's going to tell you how fast this thing's going to set up. So it's starting to do its hazing effect here, and also a little sweating effect here. So I'll probably wipe it off in another 30 seconds or so. And so then I'm going to switch over to the UV light, and I want to show you how this thing levels out if you were only using the UV light. So it's a little bit more difficult to see it flash with it. Oh yeah, I think it's ready. Okay, so we're ready. So I'm going to just turn this back on. Can I just showcase that? Put that there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and take this towel. Oh yeah, I'm starting to get tacky. So I bet you guys have never applied a coating in the dark like this. Okay, I'm going to flip this towel over, and then I'm just going to go ahead and buff off any excess product to make sure I leveled it out properly. And so see, with the UV light, applying it in a darker room like this, I can actually get a more even application. Like I don't see my applicator marks. And so if I did it the other way, like I did it like this, you can actually see my applicator marks. And right there, it looks like I missed a spot, but I didn't. But you can see my applicator marks here. Versus this side, they're not as prevalent. Here they are because I went super heavy here. So it looks like I missed a spot, but I just overly applied it. So there's excess coating on there. But again, I just want to answer the question, is do we need the UV light for this? And again, I think I'm at the point where for me it depends on the scenario. If you're new to coatings, then I would say yes, invest in it, especially if you're going to invest in the Adams coatings here, because a lot of people buy the Adams coatings. If you're going from the Adams coatings to the Jade stuff and you already have it, then you already have it. But if you're starting out with the Adams coating, just buy the whole kit, because then it alleviates the intimidation factor from a coating application. And what you're normally going to see is you're going to see all your applicator marks, which is completely normal. Just remove any excess product, and that will self-level as the coating cures. And then once you pull it outside, the sun will help cure it some more. And again, it'll self-level and it'll go away. If you're a professional and you want to get into the Jade product line, and all you're going to do is be applying the Jade coatings, then I would also say invest in either the UV handheld or just put the UV lights around your shop. And so then just turn off your regular lights and then just turn off your UV lights, and you can see the application process here as you go around. If you're someone like me who's applied multiple coatings and you're just looking to try coating, and Jade's not going to be, or Adam's not going to be your long-term coating solution, then you don't need it, because you can just rely on the flashing feature that this thing has, which is the sweating effect or the rainbow effect from the coating, and it'll start to haze as well. So I can just rely on that, and I'd be perfectly fine knowing that I got even coverage on the paint, because as I'm wiping off the coating, the excess, I'm leveling it, I can actually feel the surface tension change from tacky to slick. So I know where I've been, and I know I have coating in this particular area. So that's where I'm at with the UV light. with this thing, and hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of how to use the UV light with either the Jade coatings or the Adams coatings here. Again, it's primarily for them that have the UV tracer. So again, thanks for watching. If you guys have any comments or questions on this, go ahead and post down below. If you're interested in the Jade stuff, just watch the Jade videos that I have on the channel. So again, thanks for watching. I will catch you next one. Take care.